It's Jack Sports TV, Damian, Brian, Pat. Remember those names. We're doing big things with sports.
Even if they're wrong.
Nah, we're never wrong. We just write convincingly.
However, that is Brian and I am Pat.
Brian got us started talking about performance-enhancing drugs and the stars that enjoy the benefits or the minuses of them. Wondering why this guy gets credit for doing his thing. This guy gets bashed. This guy gets thrown to the wolves. This guy gets to work in anonymity. As far as Lance Armstrong, yeah, he did the cancer thing. He did the live strong thing. And he's always been rumored to putting something in his blood that got him to the next level. If it weren't for Floyd Landis doing what he did after Lance left, we could have let Lance just go on, move along, and him and his special blood just faded away. But because of what Landis did and denied, and Lance coming back and kind of being human again on the Tour de France, doing normal stuff that people do on bikes after 2 or 3 days, you got to wonder, was he really doing something, and does anybody have anything concrete on it? Because I'm thinking if they don't by now, they should let it go. But like Brian says, you got to be consistent. You either bash them all or just leave it alone. And I'm thinking sports is sophisticated enough to where if you've got something dirty going on or you're trying to cheat the game, there should be enough whistleblowers or safeguards to catch you before you get on the field. Because in my eyes, once you get on the field and do it, it's there. You know, Ben Johnson beat that dude in the dash in the Olympics. He got busted later, but I saw him do it. So if he got past everybody else to get to that point, that's what it says to me. When A-Rod hit that 600th home run, he beat all of the safeguards or whatever it took to keep him from being on the field. And with all the home runs you want to say you want to discredit him for, cool. Take away the home runs you think he juiced up for and got him. But at the same time, add on the home runs that he got from juiced up pitches throwing strikes past him, or juiced up outfielders jumping up and catching a ball at the fence, or the juiced up catches that got the foul tip that kept him from getting another pitch to hit a home run. You could go all day with it. But the constant is either the fan has to get more educated on what professional players are willing to do to get to that next level, or we just got to pick a side and go with it.
Well, okay, here's back to Lance, and here are some facts, okay? Fact of the matter is in 1999, he did test positive. He tested positive for corticosteroid, okay? That's fact. And somehow or another, offhand it escapes me, that was thrown out. But he did test positive. Now, there's something in cycling now that came out the last couple of years. It's called a biological passport. And what it basically is, to sum it up in a nutshell, they're going to get your pre-race blood and everything inside of you, more or less, and get a determination, okay, this is the way your red blood cells look like, your white blood cells, blah, blah, blah. Okay, to say it in its simplest form. Okay, if there's any changes to that during the race, okay, now they know that you're taking something. And reading the Tour de France, a lot of the material that came out, the cyclists from France, even though they didn't finish well in terms of the overall standings, they had like 6 cyclists where, let me rephrase that, where they won 6 stages, okay, individual stages. That's the first time that really happened since the 1980s. And a lot of that's attributed to the biological passport, okay, that's coming into effect and helping cleaning up cycling. They talked about how the times, okay, the times, you don't see the record times in individual stages that you saw in years past because the biological passport has cleaned some of that up. Now, as far as Lance and the whistleblowers, Lance had a reputation of being so large and so powerful within cycling that if you whistleblowed on Lance, okay, you could potentially be blackballed out of cycling, where all of a sudden you're no longer on the elite teams, you have to ride with somebody else. So that was the fear that Lance put into other people. Okay, enough about Lance. My man Pat and I, we talked about something a little bit earlier, okay? I'm a fan of NASCAR, all right? I think, you know what, those guys are athletes. Now, I'm not saying those guys are O.J. Simpson. I'm not saying they're LeBron James or Dwayne Wade, but they are athletes to me, and for whatever reason, I don't see how you don't see that.
How could you not see that?
I don't see it at all. And before I get into that, I do want to say screw you, Floyd Landis, because if had you not done what you did, we could be sitting here talking about baseball and football and real sports instead of cycling and NASCAR.
He blamed it on whiskey. Come on, you can't hate
I'm blaming it on all you a-holes. Look, at NASCAR, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it's a sport. Yes, it's difficult. If difficult makes something a sport, there's a lot of damn sports out there. Crab fishermen. We've seen The Deadliest Catch, or whatever the hell show that is that shows crab fishermen, and they die, and there's some moratorium on some dude that just died on the show.
Do you not think it's do you think these guys are athletes?
No. No, I think they do something that's difficult, an activity, not a sport. And I know, and you know, I wrote an article about this, and somebody happened to show me the definition of sport. And I said, I don't really give a damn. To me, the definition of sport is football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and then shut the hell up. I don't really want to hear about much else. I'm sorry. Golf guy in the studio right now. But to me, those are the sports. And you know what? Golf, to me, is a sport as well. NASCAR is not a sport. It's an activity. Yes, it's difficult. But listen, this is what I used to tell a guy I used to work with. He'd go, do you know how hard NASCAR is? Do you know how hard those guys work and how difficult it is to hold that steering wheel? I said, you know what? I live on a hill. I live on a hill. And it's a pain in the ass to mow my lawn. Do you want to pull up a 30-pack of Bush in a lawn chair and watch me mow my lawn because it's difficult? That don't make it a sport, and it sure as hell doesn't make it entertaining.
Well, I'm on the fence with this because I can respect the sport aspect of it because of the endurance that the driver must have. I mean, you take any athlete and put him in 120-degree heat. Whatever he starts off doing will be greatly diminished an hour into it, 2 hours into it. So if a basketball player is awesome hitting threes at the beginning of the game, after 2 hours in 120-degree heat, he's not going to be the same player. And for a NASCAR driver, you know, to endure through 3 or 4 hours with minimal breaks, water, pee, anything, there's the athletic part of it.
And they pee on themselves. Those aren't athletes.
Once you get dehydrated, it's a wrap. You know, on the other side, the sport aspect of it that I really respect and get into is the stuff in the pit crew. That's where the competition is, because if you got 30 cars that drive 200 miles an hour, it's got to be something happening different to make this car better than that car. When you pull in, how fast you change the tires, how much gas you put in, so on and so forth, how quick you raise the car up and down and get it in and out and gone. The instructions from the pit crew to the driver. There's some sports in there because you got that in every single game. You got the communication with the football players. Same thing with baseball, the signs. Same thing with basketball, the coach yelling from the side. It's all there. And the other thing that's definitely there with the passion of Jack Sports is the girls at Vegas Showgirls. You got to check them out. 36, 24, 36, throw it all out. Go see what they got in person at Vegas Showgirls. They might let you measure them themselves.
Next, we're going to talk about coal miners and brain surgeons, because what the hell, that's hard too.